Okay, I'm sorry if there's a connection problem, but it seems like there might be, so I'm going to be watchful of that. Anyway, um, yeah, you guys know how I have a certain preference, but how much do I have that preference is the question. You see, for me, when I was younger, like when I say younger, I mean just a couple years ago. Um, I generally tried, I tried to have a larger scale of things when it came to men on age. Now, did I try to have an age range to 40? No. I mean, I'm not 40, I'm not 30. 40 seems like a very far age range for me, and that's never been anything I've been open to. I just noticed that for me personally, whenever I am involved with a man older than me, and I don't even mean extremely older than me, just older than me, honestly, generally they tend to seem like they make a lot of assumptions. Like they have this whole mindset of being there, doing it before, and I'm talking about sex specifically. Um, I feel like often they're not good in bed because they're always stuck on thinking, they've been there, done that, and it only works the way they think it works because such and such female they did it with worked that way. Now, does that mean that every woman is built the same? No. Does it mean that every woman has the same desires? No. But no, you can't even think that women are different because you've been with too many women that were the same to actually understand that actually, to actually listen to the woman that you're with. This is a major thing I've noticed with older men. And for me, it's just like, I mean, on top of the fact that for me, they don't really have much of an attraction. Honestly, I want to be honest. For me, how it works is I like men that are quite young, quite in their prime. You got to think, from my point of view, um, I'm in my 20s. So I don't see why I would find an attraction to men who are not within my age range. I really don't. I never understood that. Like, to me, it's weird. And for me, the way it works with men, it seems like their attraction fades. It honestly fades. People think that it gets more. For me, it doesn't get more at all. He starts to get older and older, and it gets kind of like the virility just knocks off, kind of, and it gets weaker and weaker and weaker as he gets older. And it kind of shows in many different aspects of the man's life, in my opinion. But, like, you could say for me, I'm generally attracted to men in their 20s, and I don't have too much of a fade there. But like men in their 30s, like there is no attraction at that point. For me, the way it works is kind of like men in their 30s, I might see at 30 or 30s that the man is attractive, but I don't have any energy left. There's no sexual energy left in this man at that point. He is totally, kind of flat out. Some men can last a bit into their 30s where you can feel like a slight bit of sexual energy. That is not often, but it does happen. This is also the case for me when men are approaching 30. It kind of starts to fade. You can see some of them start to fade. Now, does that mean all of them? No. I've had, I've been with guys in their upper 20s, and it's been like some of the men were like, I didn't have any energy, interest, or anything. And then there were other men who were like, I could feel an energy, but I could see that it was turning around. Not like right then and there, but like it might be turning around in like 5 years when they turn, or to their like early 30s, things of that nature. But, I like I said, I can find men in their 20s attractive just fine, but it's like I think generally for me, maybe it's because I'm in my 20s why I don't find men in their 30s very attractive. And even if I do find them attractive, there's no sexual energy there. You can't do anything with a man. You literally have no desire when you look at him, and when you feel his presence, you feel nothing. You can't really do anything there. It's like trying to get sexual with a picture of an attractive man in a cereal box or something. Like it's just a picture, okay? Like why would I be like actually sexually attracted to a picture? You get what I'm saying? It's not like I can feel an energy of interest. I feel nothing. So that's the main thing with men who are like older. It's like I never understood like what do people mean by an attraction as they get older. To me, it's like I think scientifically too, virility goes down, I think, when they get older. This is why the whole thing about not being able to have enough stamina in some cases. Now, of course, that's at the extreme, and that's when men are a lot older, into their upper 30s, that's when they start to have more failure. Not like all men in their upper 30s have failure, but I remember reading a study where it is common where they start to have failure to keep an erection, things of that nature. Also, on top of it all, is that, like, in my experience, the older the guy, the less open minded he is. Therefore, the worse the sex is. Because for me, it's like, if the guy is just thinking like that a woman only likes sex this way, does sex this way, it works this way, then he's just thinking about Jade, and Amy that he fucked, but not specifically me. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see a comment here. Um, oh, hi, Travels of Black Rose. I agree with you. When I was in my 20s, I thought men late 20s and 30s were over the hill. I'm 30 now, so I see men in their 30s attractive and still late 20s. Yeah, I can see that. I always think that honestly, when I hit 30 or in my 30s, I hope to, find men in their 30s attractive. You want to be on point with your own age range, things like that. But it's just like for me, right now, I do not really seem to be getting to that point yet. I can, like I said, I can find men in their 20s attractive, but I'm in my 20s, so it's kind of like, you know. So I think maybe I am biased, but yeah, I don't know. It's just like for me, also in my experience, I think it also has to do with my own because I am the type who's not very I am like I'm a sexual person, but I'm not a person who is with a lot of different men. And so for me, it's like I've found a lot of men who were older seem to have like a list of women they were with or whatever, and then they get into this zone of different just different ways of just thinking all women are the same one, and then secondarily it's like there are some key words that are just problematic, honestly. Like they'll be like I'm experienced, or I have a good amount of experience, and act like basically since they have all this experience that they know exactly how to basically please you. When it's like, I'm an individual. Just because you were with a whole bunch of women does not mean I'm like all those other women. Like, it seems like the more time and the more stuff going on there, like with years and years of being with, like, I guess the same woman or whatever, it's like they tend to seem like they just are kind of like thinking all women are the same, and they don't seem open to actual suggestions and actual the person who knows how their sexuality works to actually accommodate to that. So for me, like, I can never like find myself like, oh hi, Bootney Lee Farnsworth. Oh, thanks. But yeah, for me, I can never tell, you know, them how I prefer to have sex, really, it seems like, because they just don't seem like good listeners. And obviously, if someone's not a good listener, there's no point in actually being with them. Because they take a role of being like the one who knows everything, and it's like, well, if you know everything, I think you need to be with someone who, I guess, doesn't know what they want, or someone who, I don't know, like, maybe you do know that person specifically, but you clearly don't know me. And to me, it's just like, I kind of feel like I said, going back to that, it's kind of like they seem to just want sex in the way they want it, and then they don't really seem like they're really one that wants to actually compromise. And on top of it, this kind of goes into the whole part of like, often in my experience with men who were, now this doesn't apply to very old men, because like for me, I've never been with a man that old. I've never been with a man who was 30, honestly. I've only been with men who were like close to 30, like 28, 27, things like that. And when I was younger, I had one experience with one guy, and another experience actually with another guy. The guys who were closer to 30, where it would seem like they would be very greedy. It seemed like they were just focused on themselves more than like actually my own interest. And for me, I mean, I just always felt like with younger guys, it just seemed like they were more like, they're just more like interactive. And like for me, it was just like there was more of an interest mutually rather than just one way. To me, it was just always like, and knowing like the only thing you want to do is just like stick your dick in, like, what's wrong with you, really, in my opinion. But like with like younger guys, I always noticed they seemed like they were much more skilled in sex, honestly. And I know sometimes I hear people always act like, you know, with older men that they have more experience, so they have more skills, but I don't experience that. I just don't experience that at all. I experienced it quite the opposite. So to me, it's kind of like, I don't really, as far as currently, I don't really want to experience anyone much older than that, because every time I've ever been involved with someone who was older, it would always be where they were just really bad at sex, like, honestly. And like on top of it, the other part of it is this. Like, I noticed that guys who were younger, and this goes back to like virility, guys who were younger seem to always last much longer. Honestly, it was always a better experience for me because they would just last a lot longer than guys who were older. And I don't mean that in a like way where like anyone had a failure or was unable to get erect or anything of that nature. I'm just saying that, they just still didn't last as long in my experience, as younger guys did. So for me, it's just like, I don't know, like, I don't see why I would prefer men. I don't have really much of a interest in the first place. My energy, sexual energy, just really isn't there for me. And then like if it's slightly there, it's just like it's not enough. Like men who are, like I said, in their 30s, it's really rare for me to find any interest in that regard. It's just like there's nothing, it's hardly anything there. And then with sex, it seems like the older a man is, the worse it is. It's like I don't really see what the um encouragement or interest to be with older men is really. Honestly, another thing is older men, in my experience, seem like they were less likely to be shaped into what you like because it was always like they were more so stuck in their ways. And for me, it's like, obviously, like I said, I don't need someone who's just stuck with this is how women are, this is what um, pleases women, and that's what I'm gonna do, kind of thing. I need a man who's, a versatile more so and more open minded. And also, one thing that's really weird with older men that, don't really um understand this, I think. Like they don't understand that, with age does not come more attraction. At least personally, I don't understand why they don't understand that themselves because it's like in general, it seems like for men who prefer younger women, it's like they know that they wouldn't prefer older men if they were women. Like they wouldn't date themselves if they were, you know, if they were younger women. So I don't understand why they think that, they would expect other people to prefer them over a man in his prime. That just never made any sense to me. Oh, there's another comment. Travels of a Black Rose. What you like, and they try to control the experience. Older men are selfish lovers for some reason, in my experience. Yes, exactly. It's just like I don't understand. Most of the time, it seems like for me, it's kind of like I think for the good of the older man and for me that it's best to avoid them because usually for me it's kind of like when they're selfish lovers and stuff like that, I do not really appease them enough because it just is like um for me personally, I one of those women who needs a lot of interest mutually, kind of. And I need also like it to be a specific way for me personally. And if I don't have it that way, I'm probably not even going to be interested in having sex. And I'm not probably going to have sex, you know, because of that. So that's why I always think it's a waste of time with older men on the basic level of the fact that neither of us are going to get anything out of this. And it's just because he's constantly stuck in his way. Because I've done it with younger men all the time, and many of the time it's an easy mutual situation of enjoyment. But it's just like in this case, for whatever reason, they don't seem to like to follow directions. So it's just like, you can't follow directions, then I don't think you'll make it to the place where we can actually both enjoy this mutually. So then I don't think you'll ever make it to the right spot. You know what I mean? But like on top of that, it's just like older men to me, it's like they know that no one, like they wouldn't date themselves, you know? And I find it weird to expect people who aren't old to prefer them. Like it makes no sense in the world. Especially when you can understand that you are attracted to younger people. And so then why would you be shocked that someone else is attracted to younger people? It just doesn't make any sense there. I mean, many of the time they say that they're not attracted to older women because they think like that femininity or their fertility or things of that nature have gone down. Now, with men, their virility goes down with age. So I don't understand, what are you not thinking about here? Like, I just don't understand that. To me, it's like, it's quite obvious. You've gotten old too. So I don't understand how you're acting like you should be more ideal when your virility has gone down. It's like, I don't understand why they can't really apply the same logistics to themselves. And it honestly weirds me out when older men, think I'd be interested when they can't even prefer their own age. Like, to me, it should be like an understanding here that you should understand why I'm not into you when you're older, when you're not into yourself being older. You know, you don't like older people. So why should I like older people? It just doesn't make any sense. And I honestly think that I just don't think that many young women tolerate older men without being paid to do so, honestly. I mean, like, I think most of the time, and I've seen studies of it where people always say women in their 20s, generally, if just given a level playing field on interest, they're usually attracted to people their age, not really people that. And I don't understand where people get this assumption that women who are younger like men extremely older than themselves. It just doesn't really seem to be supported by anything in reality, at least. It's like older men pretend their experiences also, in my opinion, makes them better in bed. Yet generally, older guys I've been with were never really anything but lazy in bed and unable to last long. I mean, what is really the what is the appeal? I don't understand it. What is the appeal of an older man? I don't understand it at all. Nobody really gives anything that's a reason why someone would want to be with an older man other than getting paid to do so. And to me, it's like, I just think older men who understand they're not as attractive or ideal as younger men who like offer money, or are at least, on the same page. Because I mean, like, at least you understand that, you're not are like the ideal. You're not in your prime, at least be on the same page. But I think honestly, in some ways, I don't understand why they have to add some of the negativity into their age, like being selfish, for example, or a lack of stamina, things like that. I don't understand why they have to include like being closed minded when all they have to do is change the way they think. Like, that's a whole new layer added on to the fact that there's no attraction, physically, energy, and, they have a hard time staying hard and all those things. At least have a good mindset. But no, you can't even have that. Why is it that you can't even have a good mindset? That's something you can control, but you choose not to. But and in total, like, no money I don't think would make me pursue a man over 40. Like, 40s to me, honestly, they look scary. I just have to be honest. 40s look scary to me. I usually am not used to looking at people who are like in their 40s because my mother and older people in my family and things of that nature don't look 40. They look young because they're black. So for me, when I see people in their 40s, I'm like, to me, in my mind, I'm like, oh my God, you look really, really old because to me, 40s look really young. So to me, like when I see a man in his 40s, to me, I'm thinking 60. So, I mean, like, I don't think I could ever be convinced by any money to ever be interested in men like that or try to pursue men in their 40s. It's just like that, I don't think could happen for me. Honestly, for men in their, 30s, things like that, of course, like upper 20s, of course. 30s is a stretch. And I've kind of like given up on. Like I'm not interested in obviously being with like for like just free kind of situation. I would have to have like maybe some kind of like I guess more hypergamous situation with guy in his 30s. Maybe, I guess. If he's like 35, 34, I think in my city that a lot of men live very hard in my city. So a lot of men generally look a lot older. So when they're like 38, 39, it's over kind of. In other places in the country, 38, 39 might be okay and might be at a level of just, like it might be okay in a hypergamous situation. But generally, for me, it's just like I would not do that just for free. Like that would just be weird to me. I wouldn't do that. I would, if like I said, if anything, it would be like early 30s, I guess, in a hypergamous situation. But as far as just general, regular dating situations, heck no. For me, I mean, like, I can be with a guy in his prime. I don't see why I would be with a guy who's like going downhill. Like, it just doesn't make sense. And it's like, honestly, with older men, it feels like they act like women are blind, or I feel like sometimes like men don't understand what's attractive, or that you know different women think, why do you constantly think like that people are just attracted to one thing or they're not? Like, that's not how humans work. We're individuals. Oh, hi, the one and only. Hi, how are you doing? I didn't see your comment there. And I don't really care, how an older man takes care of himself, honestly. Even if a man is fat or slim and takes care of himself, I feel like, honestly, there's no sex appeal. Like, there's no interest in them. There's nothing there. Like if there was an appeal, it would, like, if there was a sex appeal, then you could have something to work with. But I mean, like, you can make yourself look all nice and attractive. You could even try and get plastic surgery. But if the the sexual energy isn't there, then what's sex energy on them either? Like, there's nothing there. They can be as pretty as they want to be, beautiful as they want to be. I'm never going to want them because there's no energy. And that's the whole point of men, is just like, they need to have an energy to have an interest to be intimate with them. And with older men, they lack that. So then I don't see why a woman is supposed to be, or expected to be, interested in men like this when the appeal is completely gone. And sometimes I see it where, like, older men sometimes seem like they live in kind of like a fantasy, and get upset kind of if you admit kind of the truth. And I mean, I'm not trying to be mean or anything. I'm just trying to be kind of like truthful here. I don't see where or why people expect, an appeal for older men in these cases, when, it just doesn't, like, there's no appeal that people bring up, other than like maybe a financial situation or a power situation, you know and then some people who have like father issues, things like that. And I know, for me personally, I think a lot of people would think that I would have father issues, I guess. But for me, I don't have father issues personally, because I've always had a very positive view of my dad. So I've never really had any father issues, really. Um, so, I mean, to me, it's just like a lot of people expect, a an attraction. But I think, like, maybe some people are off of money, off of power, off of maybe, like I said, like, having a like being attracted to like a father figure or something of that nature, or something like that. Things like that. But for me, I personally do not look to men in that regard. I don't like men honestly having more power over me. I like to be more independent anyway. So, I mean, like, I don't like a man who has more power over me anyway. So, and I mean, like I said, with age, I mean, a kind of beauty isn't really in the eye of the beholder, honestly, because I mean, like, we all know age fades looks. So, I mean, age just fades looks. It's not anything wrong with that. That's just how it is, in some regard. So it's just like, I kind of feel like a lot of the time that men shouldn't be upset that because they get older, they lose virility, because it's just a part of getting older. I mean, like, would you want to die young? No. So then, I mean, like, you should accept everything that older age brings you. I mean, you're lucky, you live longer, you know? So, I mean, like, you should be grateful for what you have. But also, I notice another problem that I've encountered, just a slight bit, not as bad as some other instances, but it's with older men. Sometimes, like in the workplace and other avenues, is that, like, you will find that generally it's like the men who are older sometimes have a sense of entitlement that can be kind of like turned into a harassment situation. I'm not saying all old men, I'm saying some old men. And it's like, it's really uncomfortable, obviously, because it's like, I think there might be the whole idea in their heads that, younger women like older men. So then they try to act on it. And it's like, to me, I don't, I think that people need to have more of an understanding that, people who are younger might actually like people who are younger, and actually deal with reality instead of their whole fantasy of being with a younger woman. Because, I mean, like, not no one's living in the fantasy besides you, and maybe some women who are into that fantasy. But you can't just assume that every woman is looking to satisfy your fantasy of being with a younger woman. And honestly, I see like different I also noticed that a lot of different like sectors of YouTube try and act like older men are more attractive to younger women. And like they try to put this stand, how is that supposed to convince anybody of anything? Either people are attracted to you or they're not. Like that's just how it is. It's no matter how many times you try and convince people that you are preferred, it's going to turn out by how people prefer what they prefer. Like I don't think you can really push yourself on to people and then they will eventually see you as physically attractive. You can convince people with money. You can, find people who are actually into that. But I mean, like, just regular people who are younger, you're trying to get bring an interest from them without really recognizing that, it's more than what you want and it's more about what others want as well. And personally for me, I don't think, even if I didn't, like, for me, I've generally found like that as far as like my interest in men, it's always seemed like I generally don't have a problem with men in my 20s, really, around my age. It's just easier to relate to them, and they just seem like a better option. Honestly, think of it personality wise with dating, outside of sex and things of that nature, with dating and like getting along with a person, it makes more sense to me to relate to someone within my generation rather than someone who's like two generations away from me or one generation away from me. Honestly, with millennials, for example, though I am close to a millennial in age, many things that they experience in life was situationally different. That's why generations kind of split off on different sectors because when you grow up during different times, you might have a different experience. You may have grown up with different things. You may have experienced college in a different way. It just is different. And I mean, like, I just think that you have to wonder why sometimes these men are into younger women emotionally. Like, I understand the sexual attraction, but why haven't you emotionally matured? That's a little weird to me. Because, I mean, like, I know, like, when you have, like, an age difference with people a lot younger, it's hard to relate to them. And I can only imagine how much harder it is to relate with someone who is like 15, 20 years younger than you. So to me, I just never understood that part. It just never made any sense to me. And I mean, like, honestly, I don't think if you were pushing yourself, like, on to younger women and trying to create this image, as some platforms do, that older men are more ideal, you wouldn't have to do that if, you actually had a lot of options of younger women, you know? But I think many of the time, I think if they have any options, usually it's like I said, in those cases. And so, like, they can have, like, like, they can sometimes think they have more options because, they live in that fantasy, but, like, ow, but, like, they still don't actually realize that, they obviously don't have that much appeal if that's what they are basically pushing. It would come naturally, but it doesn't come naturally because it's not a natural attraction, I don't think, for most women. Like I said, like, if you have more money, it can help, or, somebody who has, some people, like, for example, if you have a stability situation and maybe they are dealing with some kind of um some kind of thing they need, like, say for example, there may be a single mom and they need, like, stability or something of that nature, maybe they would gravitate more towards you. Maybe they would gravitate more towards you because, they have kids anyway. And sometimes people who are younger don't really want to get into that kind of situation. I know for me personally, I don't. Like, and I guess this is another topic, but I want to actually talk about this in a later time about single fathers and single mothers. But anyway, I'll leave that alone. But, it's just different situations, where I can see that there can be an appeal, but don't just look to random women, like I said, and expect us all to just have that preference. It's just weird. And generally, with these, like, platforms, I generally find it seems like they have a sense of, like, anger. So that's why, to me, I feel like it's obviously not organic. You know, the interest is not actually, the options they have don't seem that voluminous. Like, it's not that, they don't have that many pickings. Basically, they have slim pickings, I think. But like I said, I don't like to assume how other people experience their situations because it's not really fair because I don't live their life. So, yeah. And generally, I just find that I don't need a man who is older, that I have no sexual energy towards, who are usually bad at sex to begin with. Like, why would I do this to myself? Seriously. It's completely unnecessary torture. Like, I don't see why I would do all that when there's no incentive at the end of the day. Like I said, I don't seek a man with money, I don't seek a man with power. Those kind of things bother me. But sometimes, like I said, with a man who's in his early 30s, I've considered it, but I don't really want, like, I still wouldn't really want a guy who is in his early 30s with money. I still really wouldn't want that. I still would more so look to a man who's in his early 20s, mid 20s, over a man with money who's in his early 30s. That's just how I am. It's just, it's hard to look at someone and have an interest in them when the interest is extremely low, if it's at all there. And honestly, I really wish that personally, it's a bit insulting to me when men who are older are attracted to me because I kind of feel like, what's wrong with me that I attracted you when you are so much older than me? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. It's like, well, I'm half your age, yet you are attracted to me. There's something wrong with me. Maybe I look a little old or something. Like, that's what I started thinking in my head. Like, something must have gone wrong here. I must have done something wrong on my end to actually garner your attraction. Like, that's the last thing I want in my life. Oh, hi, Amina Parker. And and I hope kind of like that I can like have like some kind of like interest later on in life. I hope that I do develop interest in older men as I get older because I mean that's the healthy thing to do. For some reason, these older men did not mature in age and preference. And I mean, like, we all know what happens when you don't like mature and preference. Some people end up like R. Kelly's out here. Obviously, they didn't turn out like that, but I'm just saying that, some people, when they don't mature in preference, it's not a good thing. And for me, I would not want to be stuck at 50 attracted to a 22-year-old man. It just wouldn't make any sense, you know? So for me, I mean, personally, I want to be attracted to older men when the time comes for it, but not now. I think that honestly, my point is for me, I never understood why, as a woman in my 20s, I was supposed to prefer an older man. It just makes no sense. Like, who gets the men in their prime? If women in their prime can have men in their prime, because we're supposed to be entertaining men twice our age. It's like it makes no sense. Like, you're saying that I should be interested in men with no, sexual appeal, no attraction that I have at all in, and, are terrible in bed. And you're saying I should be attracted to these men. So then when I get older, what am I supposed to do? Like, when I get older, I'm not going to be, who am I going to be into at that point? It just doesn't make sense. If I'm into the old man, I never got the heyday of being attracted and enjoying the youth of other people as well as myself, the prime age of people, you know, like the prime age of a man, the prime man. You know what I mean? I didn't get any of that. I didn't get any of the just the the enjoyment basically of being with a younger man. And for me personally, it's just like it makes no sense. It really makes no sense. Oh, there are comments. I'm sorry. Amina Parker, she said, it's the natural way of things. Yeah, yes, for me, it is. It's just natural for me to just honestly be attracted to what I am. And I do this in so many ways, honestly. I guess I just like things that are compatible for me. And what's compatible is my age. Honestly, I'm like emotionally, I'm not, like, for example, I have always kind of, I guess you could say, find men attractive when they are under 20. I'm saying 18, 19. And the thing is like emotionally, you realize, when you hit a certain age that, you can't really find men that appealing anymore in an emotional sense. You can feel it physically, but emotionally, it's like you've gone past that point and they're at a certain level that you're not at anymore, emotionally. Sex wise, you could probably still do it, but I'm just saying emotionally, it's just going to be like, what? But like men, that's why I'm like with men who are in their 30s, for me, it would work the same exact way being in my 20s myself, because it's like you are in a different mental level than me. Like emotionally, we've gone through different things. We are different generations. You are a millennial, I'm a Z. So for me, it's like it's not gonna really be that compatible, you know? So I don't know. It's just like I don't understand why people don't understand. That's the natural way to be. No, there are more comments. Older men should be. You prefer older women, older men? Older men should be with younger. Oh, like honestly, some people say that I guess with some women maybe they are old mentally or something like that nature, and maybe that works for them. I don't know, but for me personally, I've always been like older men. Nah, it just doesn't work. Like sexually, like I said, they always assume women are just like machines or something, and they don't really listen to my own sexual desires. They just focus on, oh, I've been with Susie, Janie, Jessica, and so forth, and it all worked this way, so it'll work this way with you. Sweetie, I am not like every other woman. I am an individual. And if you can't understand that, then I don't think we're not gonna have sex. We're not gonna climax. We're not gonna enjoy anything here because you are too stuck on Jessica, Susie, and Eloise. So I obviously am not in your mind. You are not interested in my, sexual desires. There's no point. There is no point at that point. If I can't be intimate with a man and I can't have the right attention that I need for my sex life, then there's no point in, having sex and being intimate with a man, especially when emotionally we're on different levels. You're hitting your 40s soon, or you're 40. You're like my mother. You're my mother's age. And I, on the other hand, am still in my 20s. How the heck am I supposed to basically have any compatibility? There's no sexual appeal. There's no sexual compatibility. There is no emotional compatibility. It's just nothing there for me. I don't know. Oh, there are other comments. I'm sorry. Younger men cannot take care of women or age. I'm in my 20s. I want a man in his 30s. Oh, well, I don't know. Honestly, like I said, some women are like that because they are more, I guess, weak, or they are, I don't know how to explain it. Like some women like to be taken care of, okay? And they are like that type, okay? They are feminine women. They are soft, they're delicate, they're pretty precious little princesses. Things like that. And for me, it's just like kind of like I am not into a man treating me like a child. I am not into a man treating me as incapable. That's just not my thing. I'm not into men who are just like interested in like just treating me like I am a lesser human being and I'm incapable. Like that freaks me out. I don't like men taking care of me, honestly. I like a man who's equal to me, and honestly, if I have the choice, would rather take. I would rather wear the pants in a situation where there's a relationship. That's just how I am. But I understand some women are like soft, pretty little princesses and things like that, and I'm like, cool. Some men love that, and I don't know what's a good man for women like that. Generally, I think, like I said, those pretty like soft, delicate princesses are probably the ones who are looking for men with money. So then I'm like I said, yeah, men who are like in their 40s, 50s, things of that nature, they can have like, women like that, that have more of a, interest in men, maybe sexuality. And it has nothing to do with dollars because green dollars don't get me wet. They just don't. I am a real human being who actually has feelings and has desires and has a sexuality. I'm not a computer. So, I mean, I need to have that part of me fulfilled. If I don't have that fulfilled, I might as well be with a woman. I might as well. What's the difference with being with some man you're not attracted to sexually, have no physical attraction to, or anything of that nature, as opposed to being with a woman? I could be with a woman just as much as I could be with an old man. There's no difference in attraction here. I don't see it. Honestly, if you're talking about sex and a penis and all that stuff, men with penises, they, to me, you have to have sexual attraction for me to have sex. Like, I am one of those who's not as, like, as far as my female, you know, stuff, I'm not the type of woman who wants to have sex with a man I'm not attracted to because I will not allow them to have sex with me. Like, literally, physically. I won't let them have sex with me. Even if I said yes, it would not work. So for me, I mean, like, I literally have to be sexually attracted to men in order to actually do the deed. But yeah. Oh, there's more. Yeah, I don't know. Amina Parker, you're saying that men will cheat in their 20s? I don't think so, honestly. Like, to me, I think like this. A lot of older men, maybe you think just because if you're less attractive or whatever, yeah, maybe you think that you're insecure, you want older men to kind of like appeal to you and things of that nature and things of that nature, but I don't have that problem. I don't worry about that really, honestly. I figure like this. In other situations, it's always seemed like the man wants to tie himself to me in the 20s. It's not like usually like he wants to run away, in my experience. But honestly, for me, I'm like, I'm not really into relationships. So for me, it's like more so like, first and foremost, it's got to be sex. You got to be good at sex. And older men suck at sex. Honestly, they suck at sexual attraction, sexual appeal, and physical appeal. They just suck, honestly. And I don't know, it's just what it is. But I don't, like I said, I don't have any issue with men, women. I don't have any issue with women who are younger, who like, older men. I do not at all. Yeah, I know. I mean, Parker, you're saying it's not about sex all the time. But the thing is, if it's not about sex all the time, that sometimes has more to do with the fact that, like, for me, like I said, it's an emotional side and a sexual side. But I have a sexuality, and I have a strong sexuality. And that needs to be met first and foremost. And the emotional side needs to be met. Both sides is missed because, like I said, an older man is emotionally at a different level than I am. Just like I said, an 18-year-old, a 19-year-old is at a different level than I am because I'm not 18 or 19, but I'm also not 35. So to me, I'm like, I'm at a different level than both of you guys, and I don't think emotionally there's any appeal there. Now, at least with an 18 or 19-year-old, at least they're good at sex. You could do a one night stand, maybe. But I could never be in a relationship probably with a man who's that young because he's still living the life of a child. And I'm no child, but I'm not someone in my 30s. So to me, I just don't really appeal or have any interest in men who are like in their, like, I don't have any interest in men who are like in their 30s, really, honestly. It's just like they don't have any emotional appeal. They just can't relate to me. And then on top of it, like I said, sexuality just doesn't work. Honestly, I live comfortably on my own, sweetie. Like, that's how I see it. I build my life up. I do not depend on any man. Like I said, I'm no weakling. And that's how I see it. And the main thing about that is, you know, I've seen many channels where they say like they look to men on many different channels. And honestly, I do not have anything against that for other women. For me personally, I'm just not that type that actually looks to other men. It's just like, you are just like me, and I am just like you. And you are not going to baby me. You are not going to make me seem like I'm a weak little princess who needs you to save me or anything like that. I don't need that. I feel insulted by my intelligence, by my strength, by my autonomy, because I am just as strong as any man. And that's how I see it. I don't want to seem weak. A lot of men who are more like into the alpha, power, money, and might have the older age thing going on there are into that. They never liked me because I'm kind of like, no, I'm not into that. You're not going to make me feel that way. It's just the same way if a man was made to feel that way by a woman. He wouldn't like that either. It's the same thing. I do not go by the whole gender role expectation that a woman is weak. I don't, I mean, like other women can act that way, and that's fine. I don't judge them, but I am not going to be weak. That's just how I see it. Oh, yeah, I do not go by the gender roles. I actually answered that without you. I answered that without even hearing your question. I mean, Parker, I'm sorry. But yeah, I don't. And to me, like, I know some people think that a man becomes high value in late 30s. And to me, I'm like, sure, you can think that a man in his late 30s is high value for you, but he's nothing to me. I'm going to look at him like, he's nothing. Like what? What the fuck am I supposed to look at? Like, seriously, I'm going to be like, what? Because one, I'm looking at him and I see no attraction physically. When I'm looking at him and I feel, well, I'm in his presence basically, and I feel no sexual energy. Thirdly, once I get to know the man, I'm going to realize we got nothing in common, sweetie. You are like in your 39, 38, and I am in my mid 20s. I do not have any way to be interested in you on an emotional, physical, any way. It just doesn't work. So to me, no, he's not high value on any level. For me, and a high value man, you could say it would be a man who I'm sexually, emotionally, physically attracted to. I do not really judge on money. A money minded person, it's like, okay, if you're a money minded person, that's you. But for me, that's not going to have to do with my relationship quality with that person. How am I going to make something work that doesn't fit? You know what I mean? I'm not going to try and fit a size 3 shoe on my size 8 foot just to get some money. And that is speaking figuratively, of course. So for me, it's just like I do not have any, interest in a man who can't please me in the way I need to be pleased. I don't care what kind of money he has. That's not that has nothing to do with what I want, really, honestly. Because to me, the value of a man is not his money. The value of the man is the man. That's just how I see it. Now, am I saying that all men are, all men are, of the type who have no, like, value, if they have a different age that I don't prefer or something. No, I think they have value to other women. And men with money haven't value to women who value money. I do not value money. Therefore, there is no need for me to look at how much the man makes on that level. Like I said, I just am not that type. I'm not superficial like that. I am the type who wants to, if I want a relationship with a man, I want to know his heart. I want to know who he is. I want to know if he's like me, if we get along, if we fit together. That's what I want to know. I don't care about any money. I don't. That's just not me. Oh, you said a few other things. I'm sorry. They're young and sorting their oats. Sorting their oats? I don't know that term. I'm sorry. I think, are you saying sewing oats? I don't know. Honestly, for me, I mean, like, if we're saying sewing oats, I am kind of at that stage where I'm just playing around, honestly. I was just saying, if we're talking about relationships, I'm not looking to money because, like I said, money has nothing to do with the person. I want to love the man if I'm going to be with him for the rest of my life. I do not want to be stuck with him and I don't like him. If I make a commitment to a man, I must love him. And in order for me to love him, I have to love his heart. I have to love his personality. I have to be emotionally attached to this man. I can't be emotionally attached to any money. It's flat, it has no personality, and it's just green and it's not human. I mean, I can't be attached to any money. I'm sorry. That's just how I see it. I guess you have to learn the hard way. Young men will cheat. But if all you care about in life is sex, then oh well. No, it's not sex. Like I said, for me, it's also emotionally, as I've just presented. I am not someone who's just stuck on money like that. I'm not judging people who are. Like I said, I follow people who talk about just money and I have nothing against them. Honestly, I use usually their advice on other things that have to do with like relationships more so. Because like when I'm there and I'm ready for a relationship and I want a man to treat me right and I want to treat him right and you know just things to go out well and things of that nature and present properly, things of that nature, you know, that's when I, you know, want to have a good relationship. But it's not going to be about money. That's for sure. It's never going to be about money because for me, I want to get my own and he can have his and that's fine. Um, Generally, from what I've seen and heard and understood, a lot of men who don't have it, but the woman has it, it creates a bit of a power struggle which I don't really appreciate because I mean, like, that's just gonna blow up. So I would rather a man on my level. That's just how I am. Oh, yeah, you can ask a question. You can ask any question. That's cool. Hi, Beauty You, 42. Yeah, honestly, it is just not normal for me. But I do not judge other people and whatever they prefer. If they prefer an older man, you know, to me, it's like, you know, that's normal for you. For me, what's normal is not being with a man who's 10 years older than me or more. It's just like, that's not normal for me, you know? And I mean, that's just how I feel. It's not like any slight against old men even. It's just the way my nature works. And I have noticed that a lot of women my age have a similar nature. So I'm like, to me, it's just like, oh, I see another comment. I'm sorry. Only unfaithful men cheat. Yeah, it's a certain type of man that cheats. And honestly, I think unfaithful men, they cheat at any age. And um, sometimes with unfaithful men, they end up single longer than faithful men because women leave them because they cheated. So, I mean, that is just a part of it. But yeah, I don't know. I'm not going to say anyone specifically cheats more than other people. I don't like to judge people. Amina Parker, you made a perplexing comment earlier about women. What I want to address: are you seriously open to dating and marrying a woman if she checks all boxes physically? No, my point was I'm saying that women are not attractive to me physically or sexually. They have no sexual energy. I have no interest in a woman. And there's way more to that. Maybe you can ask another YouTuber because I sent something earlier about why I'm not attracted to women. It's pretty harsh why I'm not attracted to women, so I don't like to say it too much. But anyway, um yeah, I have no sexual energy or anything towards a woman at all. And I'm saying that an old man has the same energy as a woman, basically. He has no energy. There is no sexual energy. There's no desire. There's no interest. He is flat, completely flat. Kind of worries me to some extent because if you look at my mother, you can see for me it's I don't think this is it could last a while for me that I'm attracted to younger men. I could end up older and still attracted to younger men, which will suck. But I know because my mother is the same way. She's only like attracted to men in their 20s and she's in her 40s. Thankfully, she looks like she's in her 20s still, so it works out. But I don't want to be like that. I really don't want to be like that. I want to grow with my preference. I want to be like 30 attracted to 30-year-olds. Like I want my same age. If not like that, I want like at least to be like 35 attracted to 30-year-olds. You know what I mean? Like within my range at least. But yeah. Oh, there are more comments. Yeah, but I'm not attracted to women and I'm not attracted to old men. There is nothing that's ever going to happen with me and an old man. Like at this point. Um, and I mean, if it, like I said, I kind of struggle with men who are like older than me by a couple years. Like I said, like 30s and things of that nature. So for me, I don't. Yeah, there's not going to be anything where I'm interested in, men in their interaction, and the interest is just as much as a woman's. So, like I said, there is no interest in women, and I have no interest in old men. Exactly, beauty, you 42. Take your preference. Yeah, I agree with that. I think everyone should just prefer what they like, you know? If they like a specific age range, if someone likes 70 years old men, 70-year-old men, and they are 20 years old, go ahead, do it. That's how I see it. Whatever you like, you should just be with. And I mean, like, I just don't think anyone should be expected to like anything. The term, oh, Amina Parker said this. The term sorting their oaks is a term that basically means that young men are not willing to settle down when they're young. They want to try different women. That's how they are. Exactly. That's exactly how I am. I am. I want to taste the rainbow. I love different men. That's just how I am. I love all sorts of different men and I I've always wanted to be with different types of men. I don't want to settle down, honestly. I don't see why in my prime I would just want to settle down with some old man when I could actually just, enjoy myself. Now, like I said, there is there are men out there who are ideal men who could probably make me fall in love and change the lifestyle, that I live. There are men out there that I would be emotionally attached to, but no money is going to make me change as a woman. Now, love could make me change as a woman, but I haven't fallen in love with men and I'm not going to fall in love with money. That just makes no sense. I'm no computer. I'm a human being with feelings. So a man has to appeal to me with my feelings, with my sexual feelings and my emotional feelings, not money. Money doesn't have to do with my relationship quality to me. Oh, there are so many comments, dang it. Another woman with a woman is natural to me. Beauty, you 42, you said that. I don't know. I don't really like women, okay? So yeah, I just don't yeah. Going back to what other people are saying. Okay, Amina Parker. To be honest, I'm trying to save her from herself. She needs to understand that younger men in their 20s are typically not even willing or thinking about settling down. Yeah, I'm not looking to settle down either. So that, that's just how I am. I don't understand why people always assume that women. I've talked about this in my previous video, honestly. Maybe you should check it out. But personality of the situation, and they're stuck on relationships and finding love. But from my experience, honestly, men that I've been involved with, young even, because I've only been with younger men, they generally were the ones looking for love, honestly, in my experience. Like they all always wanted to try and move it to a relationship, move it to this, move it to that. I am not into that. I am not into being in a relationship with someone who isn't a good fit. To me, it's like you have to prove to me that I actually have any feelings for you or I give a damn, basically. If I don't give a damn, then why am I being in a relationship with you? That's stupid. Don't set up something that's going to fail. That's how I see it. Anyone in the chat really willing to get married and live a happy life for feeling life needs to look for older men as husbands. It's the way things used to be before the 70s. Our community is crazy. No, honestly, I think that generally, no. Men, I think people actually have always been attracted to their own specific age, but I don't. Oh, shit. Oh, I'm overheating. Am I still here? Age. But yeah, I think a lot of people have different interests, having to do with age. So like I said, like you can be attracted to men all day. Like maybe that's what you do, but that's not what I do. And I think honestly, I mean, like many people get married in their upper 20s for both genders. So to me, I mean, that goes against the statistics. And beauty to you, 42. Some older men are not ready to settle down. Honestly, yeah, I think there are older men that are usually looking for younger women, had failed relationships with older women. That's why they go to younger women because something might not be quite right with them that they are looking for people who are out of their age range. Maybe they haven't matured. I don't know what's going on there. But that's how I feel about the situation. Oh God, this is okay. I had too many comments here. You're living in a fantasy world if you truly believe a man in his 20s will make you a wife and settle down without cheating on you. But oh well. Like I said, I'm not looking for marriage or love. I mean, like it seems like for you, you're looking for love or something from men. Maybe you don't feel self sufficient. I don't know. It's not my problem. Maybe you should go to a therapist. I don't know. But I mean, you going focusing on, interests and, know, basically love from a man when you should just let it come naturally and not try and rush it and try to look for men who are completely out of your age range. Kind of something missing. Fine. I don't care it's missing and I don't care. But for me personally, like that. Focus and feel judged. Okay, I apologize. And like she mentioned, feel judged. Okay, I apologize. And I was just she mentioned feel judged. Oh shit. I apologize. And I was just she mentioned. I need to leave. Oh shit. I'm trying to get rid of my page. I'm sorry. Did I get rid of it? Yes, I did. Okay, good. Um, okay, so I'm back on. And what were you guys saying? Living in a fantasy. I apologize then. Yeah, personally, I think you assume all women are a certain way, like you were saying about gender roles and stuff. Focusing on all those things is not going to work with me because, like I said in the beginning, these older men would often try and assume that all women were the same. And maybe that works for you because you think you're all the same as other women. But that is not how I see it myself. I do not see myself as the same as other women. I'm an individual. And this is why with older men, sex never works because they assume that we all want the same thing. We all want the same thing with sex. We all want the same thing with relationships. We all want the same thing like money. No, I'm sorry. I'm not the type of woman that wants all those things. You get confused that women aren't robots. Women want different things. Women are individuals, and it's annoying when I get lumped in with every other woman just because I have a vagina too. Like that to me is stupid. And it's never going to work for me because you don't understand me. You're just trying to get in a relationship with a woman, but you're not trying to get in a relationship with me. There's a difference here. You have to know me, not just every other woman.
And if you in the chat want to co-sign her just going around smashing different men without really taking life seriously by finding a husband at a young age and building a family, then okay. Yes, because women are only valued by men, right? That's what I mean. That's a sign of low self-esteem there, because you just basically think your only value in life is to be a wife. Okay, that's fine for you. That's how you value yourself. Me, I don't value myself that way. I guess I'm the delusional one. No wonder this community is in shambles. I guess everybody should just have sex with everybody and make babies out of wedlock. No, I'm sorry. I'm not a single mother. I've never been in those situations, and my body count is probably lower than yours, Mina. Just being completely honest. I'm just saying. Personally, for me, I have a specific interest in certain things, and that's just how it is. Like, I don't have an interest, like, I need a specific set of things, and I do not like to basically remove any of those things. I need to be pleased in all the ways that I have needs. That is emotional, physical, sexual. And a man I'm with has to be pleased in the same ways. I honestly do not ask for anything that I do not get myself and do myself. That's just how I am. That's why money is just not a thing for me, because it's like, did he ask me for money? No. So then I don't really ask for money back. I know that's a weird side of it for a lot of women. And I don't disrespect any woman who does that. But for me, that's just not how I work. Yeah, I understand. This isn't the 70s. You okay? Beauty, you. Amina, this isn't the 70s. Lauren Henry. Amina Parker. Yeah, I understand. This isn't the 70s. No wonder our community is self-hating, destroyed, gender warring community without any standards. I don't know. Like I said, with the gender wars and all those situations, I stay out of it. That's not my interest. I don't hate men. I don't love men. I'm kind of just like, you do you. That's the thing that I don't like on different YouTube sectors, where they act like if you have a different preference, then you are hated just because you have a different interest, a different dating type. In the dating life, there are different types of dating sectors. There are people who date only men of this type, or only men of that way, women of this way, or only women of that way. That's why I never had an issue with, like, for example, um, men who are like in that red pill sector or things of that nature, where they want their women to, just say, like, as housewives or something like that. To me, I'm like, there are plenty of women just like that. And I don't have anything against the man or the woman, but I know me enough to know that that would be a life in hell. So I know for me as a woman, that is just not me. Now, does that mean that I have to hate them? No. And I mean, like, I don't understand why they gotta hate me if I don't have anything to do with this, in my opinion. Not every woman has to be made into the type of dating preference that you want, or not every woman needs to be made in the way that you are made. That, like I said, goes back to making women into robots rather than individuals. And I am not subscribing to the idea that women are robots and we don't have individual personalities. Travels of Black Rose. I don't care what other people choose to do with their lives. You seem a bit too invested. Unsolicited advice is rude. Exactly, Travels of a Black Rose. To me, like I said, I do not really care what other people do. To me, it's just like, I care more about what I do, you know, and what I have an interest in. That's what I'm supposed to care about. What What other women do with their lives, I support completely if it makes them happy. Get what you want, get what you need in any way that you need to do that. And I support it completely. I don't hold anything against any woman getting what she needs, in a healthy way with relationships. So that's why I'm totally pro women who, are in any type of sector of the dating life, whichever type of man they want to attract, that's good for them. And Amina Parker, maybe you're right. Maybe women like me are delusional. Maybe what we should be doing is co-signing all of the stuff that Deanna is saying. Like I said, no, the life that I live would probably mentally damage you. You're probably not strong enough to live the same lifestyle I do. And I'm probably not strong enough to live the same lifestyle you want to live or are living. You know, we're different people, and we live our lives the way it fits our personality. And that's how it should be. What does this have to do with co-signing? She is sharing her experience and opinion. Yeah, for me, like I said, this is just me. I'm not telling you, Amina, to do this yourself. It probably would hurt you to do it. And I think that you should do something that isn't good for you. So, yeah. Lauren Henry. Amina, older guys with money are the main ones cheating. Older guys always explain they a rotation. Yeah, I think that there's some truth to that because sometimes people are cheating because like people are single older and looking for women older because other women in the past did not want them because they may have cheated or did something, negative to the relationship. Oh God, there are so many comments. I can't catch up. Um, well, I understand where you're coming from, sis. I would like to be a woman that can speak to other women and give them the right advice, but I guess my voice should be silenced. No, I mean, that's why like, I haven't made you not talk because, like, to me, like, I don't mind your point of view. It's just like for me, like I said, you, let's go back to the example. I have a size 8 foot. You have a size 3 foot. Why am I putting on your shoes? You know what I mean? I'm never going to fit a size 3. My feet are way too big and fat to ever fit a size 3. So, in the same situation as this, your relationship situations are never going to fit me. I have a whole different personality than you. You think gender roles apply for you. For me, if I was going to look at gender roles, I would just take the male side of it because I'm not taking the female side of it. I'm sorry. That's how I am. I do not like the stereotypical role. So that's never gonna work for me. For me, it's like if I want a man, he's gonna have to like everything about me. That includes that side of me. So yeah, see, you're probably looking. Are you looking for like a masculine man, things of that nature, right? If you look at my other videos, you'll see I do not like masculine all that much. I like virility. I like the male essence of a person. The male essence is biology, but not actually the masculine nature and personality of man. I'm not really attracted to that. So like, see, we like different things, and we are probably straight for very different reasons. If you're straight, I don't know your sexuality. I just assumed. Um, so I what I mean. It's just like I don't mind your voice, and I appreciate your voice and your participation. That's not quite like how I live my life. That's the problem. You think you are giving the right advice when it's just your point of view. Yeah. I just think that I agree with that totally. Like, yeah, it's your preference, and I appreciate your preference and I appreciate your voice, there's nothing wrong with that. Amina Parker, well, if that's the case, then we're screwed either way, huh? I don't know. I mean, like, that's up to you. Um, Lauren Henry, you'll basically be settling for a guy who has to buy affection because he's looking for an exchange in power and control. Lauren Henry, so true. Like, that is just my problem. Like, I generally don't want to have money in the way because it's like, then do I really love him? And does he really love me? And then on top of it, it's like if he's just looking for a woman, then that's just another thing. But I mean, like, does he want to be with me? Does he want to be specifically with me? I don't care that he wants to be with a woman. I want to know if we're in a relationship, does he want to be with me? That's specific, you know? And the other thing you're saying, I get it. Women think that, like, women that think like Jessica X, Melody, and Sister George and myself, we are all wrong. This is she science, right? No. Honestly, like I said, I've never had any issue with any of those years. Said it myself in other videos. I don't mind that kind of content. That to me is fine to have that mindset for themselves, and women like that. Like I said, the housewife kind of like look to things and wanting to have that kind of lifestyle, cool. There's nothing wrong with it. I respect it. I love it. But it's not for me. That's all I'm saying. It's just not for me. But I don't mind other people having that mindset. I'm also not a feminist, so for me, I don't like a lot of feminists sometimes have an issue with other women how they live their lives. I don't. I'm like women are free creatures and we are individuals and we have different desires. Travel of a Black Rose. If you want a harem to control, maybe get to go to a third country where women are subjugated. I don't know. I don't know about that. I like being free, so I don't know. Women want different things, so I don't judge anyone. So pick an old guy who is high value means we women will be subjugated. See, this is yeah, I don't really know. I don't see that as a high value man, so I don't really care. Like to me, I just like real relationships. I like real love. I don't like fake love. This is why I said in the past, I learned from other people's relationships not to jump into relationships because you're lonely, because there's money, because, anything that's superficial. I think you only go into relationships when real feelings, you don't go in a relationship. There is no need. So for me, like, I don't need a boyfriend unless I can feel some kind of love towards him. It doesn't have to be a lot. It doesn't have to be marriage quality yet, but it has to be a good amount. Otherwise, I don't understand why I'm torturing myself with his presence. That's just how I see it. It makes no sense. All that makes them successful is looked upon as being subjected in our community. It equals bad black race. I don't I don't know. I'm not really into black men, so I don't really know if that applies to me. But what you were saying about the success and being subjected and subjugated in our community. I don't really, like I said, I think that different relationships work for different people, but it's not going to work. Nothing you said has anything to do with my statement. Amina Parker, she said, I'm out. Please be safe. There's no saving this race. It's over. Good luck. That was funny. But yeah, I don't know. Like I said, people have different, different wants in their relationships, like I've just talked about. And like, I have nothing against women, Black women, white women, Asian women, Hispanic women, mixed race women, you name it. Having any issue or with like having an interest in like other types of men that I might not find appealing, Like I said, I'm not interested in very masculine men. I'm not interested in alpha men. I'm not interested in men. Um, I think a lot of women do find that appealing, and I think that's so nice. That opposites attract, and yin and yang, and all those beautiful things about it. But for me, it's like I don't really think it has much to do with my doesn't really have much to do with my interests or my relationships or the kind of love that I want in my life. And that's just basically it for me. I mean, like, I just think that I just don't really put myself in a box with a lot of other women. I mean, to me, it's just like women are individuals and men are individuals. And, there's someone for everybody. And that's the main thing for me. It's just like there's someone for everybody. So, there's not really any, reason to be upset that someone doesn't fit the same ideals as another person. As a woman, shouldn't be happy there's less competition for the type of men that we want. So I feel like that's actually a good thing that we have variety and we don't all want the same men. This is just how the world goes round. It just makes society better that way. If we didn't have variety, we wouldn't have so much success as the human race. So yeah, that's all I have to say on this, and I'll be done now. Thanks for watching. I was actually going to be done a while ago, but my chat kind of blew up there. But yeah, thank you for listening and viewing and interacting. So, all right, thanks. Bye.